The film begins with a magician collecting berries using a hook. Fortunately, he sees a small bird falling from his nest. The magician throws the hook swirling in the air and feels the last moment. Of course, the magician takes the bird and returns to the nest. But due to luck, the tree branch breaks and the magician falls. And after a while, two people come and check on him. The magician's name is Pan-Armex, and we know that this huge person is called Blix, and the second one is named Strix. When we build Rumix, the magician, he discovers that his leg is broken. Satan takes off and returns to the village, and they enter his house. We see that all the villagers are worried about Rumix, and they are standing in front of the house, and Asterix and Obelix enter with them. The village leader reassures Bina Romex, who remains upset and tells them that this is the first time he has cleared his life. He remains very passionate because he is in the tree. Of course, Asterix and the village leader still see that this is just a simple fracture and will go out to reassure him. But Bina Armex continues to see that this is the end of his life and decides to choose. A young magician is to be his successor, and he understands that he and this magician will know the recipe for the magic potion, and he will be the one responsible for the village. Of course, Asterix and the village leader are shocked when they hear these words and tell him that no one can know the recipe for the magic potion. And this is because if the recipe were to date someone, it might be wrong. He uses it to destroy the world. But Pan-Armex remains adamant about his decision. Asterix and those with him leave and they are upset. At night, Pan-Armex talks to a group of pigs and asks them to do a certain thing. The pigs leave him and we ask, and the next day in the morning, Obelix continues to carry Armex and goes to Asterix, who remains upset, but Pan-Armex guides him. He understands that someone else must know the recipe for the magic potion because if he dies, the whole village will remain in danger from the Romans who want to occupy their lands. So Strick is convinced by Pan-Armex's words, and Baker helps him to choose the new magician. We go to the pigs, which continue to run very quickly and move from place to place when the little pig gets lost from them, and after a while, the pigs arrive at another magician's house, and they learn that among us, Armex, he wants all the deserts to come together. It is necessary. As for the little pig, he keeps running in the forest, afraid, until he finds a house in front of him. Then he quickly runs away from the trunk of the tree and enters the house, which remains in a terrifying appearance. Suddenly, an evil-looking magician appears and throws an acorn to the little pig who eats it. They know everything about Pan-Armex, and the evil magician laughs with him and the little pig who does not understand anything anymore. We return to Rumix, Asterix, and Obelix, who are bidding farewell to the people of the village, and they meet to go to the Council of Magicians. After a while, they pray to the forest and then Armex asks Asterix and Obelix to wait here. But suddenly they hear a sound in the pot, and when they look into it, they discover that it is a young girl from the village, and this girl's name is Becton, and she knows about Bannermix. She did this to hide her invention of hers, and it will be used by Bannermix. They understand that they are very far from the village, so she loves Becton and calls on Bun. Aromix gives her a gift and he gets an idea so that they can enter the forest, and we find out that he made wheels. He and Becton entered the forest, took Obelix and Asterix outside and kept walking until they reached a dead end. She cried and changed her appearance so that no one in the desert would know that she was a girl. At that time, Obelix put the letter in a rock and he and Becton fell into his hole. She took her to the place of the desert council, and suddenly the entire desert appeared and had mercy on him between Rumix and Bay. They ask him about what happened to his leg, and Rumix understands from this meeting to let them know that he decided to choose a successor, not because of his broken leg. I am surprised by all those present who still see that no one is supposed to know the recipe for the magic potion but between us. Rumix continues to think, why should he choose a fiber? They ask if they have papers from the desert for the two talented youngsters. The desert brings him papers containing information about the candidates. They then throw these papers into piles according to the ability of each one of them, and he understands that there are only two of them from the desert who might be deserving. They know the recipe for the magic potion, but suddenly the evil wizard comes with a little pig, and we learn that this magician's name is Sleefree. Of course, the whole desert remains annoyed by his presence because he uses cursed magic, but Sleefree ignores and tells them that he came to present himself as the successor to Pan-Armex and explain to them that if he knew the recipe for the magic potion, he would use it to control the world and expand their lands. He would take one of the two special cards and burn the Aromix bin. He would sprinkle the drink on it, and he would burn Sleefree with a pile of fire in it. But Pan-Armex would understand and hit him with his broken leg. And before Sleefree could attack him, a second would enter the Strix and prevent Five from being afraid of Sleefree. As he escapes, he scatters all the leaves and keeps them together. Al Circus drinks the magic potion that makes him stronger and he hits him very quickly. We see him and we see Obelix, who stays and destroys everything in his way to reach Sleefree. He is actually able to reach him, and before Sleefree hits him, he uses his spell and locks in his place and escapes quickly, and after a while, We see that Selfreaks is happy because he did not burn the magician's card he has and is thinking about how he will be able to use it. The next morning, between Aromex and the one with him, they begin their journey in search of the magician who will be the successor to Aromex. After a while, they arrive alone from the ball, and there they meet a magician from among the candidates whom she lacks and is not hers. Yes, it is necessary, and of course, Asterix cuts his paper, and he, Aromex, and those with him return and continue their journey. They then perform another magician's feat, and this magician drinks a spell that turns him into a magnet and pulls out all the metals.
He stays between Aromex and those with him, moving from one village to the next, and seeing the capabilities of the desert candidates. And in one case, the leader of his village comes. Aromex is with us, and all the people of the village are with him, and the leader Strix says that they are behind them, so that if they need their help, he will see Strix and understand that there is only one person in the village, and he has all the women and children with him. And we will go to the king of Rome and his assistant, who knows that between us, Romex is not present in the village. So the king tells the assistant, he wants them to lose their chance, so that they can steal the magic potion. And with the power of this potion, they will be able to... One time, they are surprised by the presence of Selfree in the palace. And of course, all the guards are counting, but Selfree gives it to whom, and the king knows that the magic potion will be at his disposal soon, and he can give it to him. And this is in exchange for him. My hand has an army to occupy the village of Pinarmix, and the king likes the idea of Selfreaks, and I have a full position so that they can control the continent. Also, the king's assistant, whose name is Tom, goes with him. And after a while, the army arrives at the village of Pinarmix, and they feel, and we know from the words of the soldiers, that they are planning to exhaust the magic potion from the first village, the faces of the village. We see the women drinking the magic potion. The one who makes them much stronger comes out of the village with all the soldiers in it, and they beat him and destroy the entire army. In a far place, we see one of the candidates from the desert training, so that he can be a successor in Narmix. Suddenly, Silfrix falls from a tree, and this magician goes to help him and reassure him. So Silfrix thanks him and says to him, he can help him and train him to use a powerful spell so that he can be a successor to Firemix, use his ability, cast a certain spell, fly bright butterflies in the sky, and use the magician's hand, whose name remains Tilly Freaks, and Celebi Freaks begin to learn the spell's amounts.
His magic, and after many attempts, he can follow Freaks to make the same spell, and we return to the army, which is still stronger again and is besieging the continent. But the women attack us, beat the soldiers, and make fun of us, and we go to Bin Aram and the people of the village, who keep moving from one place to another in the hope that they will meet a magician who could be a caliph. Ben Aromex. And after a while, they finish all the papers they have and go to the last magician. The magician's ability remains that he doubles the number of bread. Of course, Ben Aromex and those present do not like his ability, and at that time the villagers tell Ben Aromex that there is no one fit to take his place. I am surprised that Ben Aromex does not like his ability. This is the last magician, and they ask if there are any other magicians present here. This magician tells him that there is a second talented magician named Frex who is on the top of the mountain. But Asterix interrupts and refuses to go to this magician and tries to explain to Armex that they can't find someone to be his successor, and he is upset and angry. He gets nervous and gives up his position to one of the villagers. He leaves and walks off, and we return to the villagers, who are shocked when they learn that they have run out of the magic potion, and thus will not be able to confront the army at this time. Asterix remains walking in the forest, sad and upset, and suddenly he hears the voice of someone speaking. So he falls silent and goes to the source of this sound. It is revealed by the presence of Selfree while he is talking to the king's assistant, and he hears him saying that he taught Telefree a magic spell that will make us choose him. Of course, Selfree will tell him the recipe for the magic potion. Suddenly, the guards grab Asterix and hand Selfree the one who keeps pampering him, and they know that as soon as he knows this recipe, he will know this recipe. He will sell this to the Romans in exchange for him taking their village and asking the soldiers to stop in a tree, and we go to Ben Rumix and those with him while they are waiting for Tall Frix to show them his magic power. Tall Frix begins to put down the magic spell that Silly Frix taught him, and as soon as he uses the spell, it turns into butterflies that fly in the sky and dissipate what they see. They are there, and Ben Aromix is walking on his feet and goes to Tilly Free CSS. They ask if he agrees to be his successor, and of course, Tilly Free CSS agrees. At this time, we see Tom and Self-Free-CSS, who remains fanatical because he does not like Asterix or magic. Suddenly his robe gets burned, and when Tom tries to help him, he throws the robe into the forest. Of course, all the trees are burning and the fire is burning the entire forest. Despite that, Silfrex remains happy, because what happened will annoy Asterix in the desert. We go to Asterix, who remains tied to a tree, but fortunately, someone comes and tries to free him, and he can do this at this time, Asterix and whoever is with him. They reach the forest and Ben Tatum when they find him burned. However, Asterix takes Telephone Freaks to a certain place and begins to explain to him the ingredients of the magic potion, and he understands that he told him about all the ingredients. Suddenly, Obelix comes with 2 pigs, and these pigs know between Rumix that there is an army besieging the people of the village. So Obelix takes us, Mix, Tall Frix, Kitten, and Pint quickly arrive to rescue them, but the leader and those with him were preparing for them to drink the magic potion and go after them, but by mistake, the magic potion is spilled on the ground and the chicks are the ones who drink it. At this time, Asterix continues to collect the ingredients for the magic potion as they run into the forest. After a while, they disembark from Obelix's back and reach the edge of the mountain and see the army besieging the village, and when they return to Obelix, the second they find him locked in his place, the bag of ingredients is not with him, so I am surprised by what Mix fire came from. As soon as they pull the hook, he flies with the chair and Peter May towards the village, and we see all the desert that remains trying to make any magic spell so that they can confront the army. And one of the desert is making a spell. Anything grows, but his colleague throws it out of the window and they all fight together. Suddenly, he enters with Mix's fire, and Bendu finds everything destroyed and that the ingredients for the magic potion are not there. We return to Tail Free CSS and Kitten, who are surprised when Silly Free CSS comes with the ingredients for the magic potion and asks Telly Free CSS to make the magic potion. Horia is in front of him so that they can use it and be able to defend the village. At first, Tall Freaks remains hesitant, but when he sees the army destroying the village, he begins to make the magic potion and adds all the ingredients that Romex told him about. Of course, Silly Freaks and Kitten watch him make it, and after a while, Freaks finishes the magic potion. But he is shocked when he finds that this potion is missing one ingredient and that Pyramex did not say anything about this ingredient. Self-Free-X gets tired and Beef gets on his nerves and starts adding other ingredients to the magic potion until its color changes and its appearance remains frightening. However, Self-Free-X drinks from it and feels that he has become stronger and lifts the vessel. They drink all of it and then he discovers that he can produce fire from his hands and uses fireballs with which he destroys the village. He burns and exploits when he sees a group of chickens, which are birds in the village people. So something important with the fire is for them as well, and it is renewed that he frightens the king's soldiers who are afraid of fire and go to the village to hide at this time. Kittim reaches Ben Rumix and gives him a bag of ingredients. She learns that she saw Telephone Freaks making the magic potion, but Ben Armex is shocked when he finds Sil Freaks coming to them and burning everything he encounters. He gives him the bag of ingredients and asks her to make the magic potion. He learns that the last ingredient is on his hook. He understands that no one can watch her making the magic potion and make her walk fast, and a cell of freaks comes with a pile of fire from Mix and Peter on him, and this is because he was not using the magic potion to control the world. And we go to Aplix, who remains unconscious, but Asterix comes and continues to hit him until he is overpowered and caught. The two of them quickly arrive, but Sil Free CSS attacks Ben Aromex and falls to the ground, explaining to him that if they cooperate, they will be able to rule the world.
Of course, Armex refuses to join him, so Silly Freaks is the nerve center, and Best gathers all his strength to kill him. But suddenly, Strix comes with Obelix, who strikes Silly Freaks with a blow. The bird is flying far away, and it falls to the ground at this moment. It remains silent. She makes the magic potion and adds all the required ingredients. She also puts the ingredient that is on the hook. This, of course, without letting anyone see it. She can finish the magic potion. As soon as the villagers drink the magic potion in the desert, their strength increases, and they begin to put out the fire as quickly as possible. And we see Sil Freaks, and it is real. On the ground, but unfortunately, he drinks from the potion that enlarges anything, and between Saddam bin Armex and all the people of the village, as well as the soldiers, when they see the size of Sil Freaks, which has become very gigantic, and yet they demand an attack, and also in the desert, the soldiers drink the magic potion because they help them, and they all find themselves carrying a load of Sil Freaks with all their might. But their attacks are unnecessary, so they get tired and run quickly. An idea comes to him, and he opens a necklace containing magic powder and sprinkles this powder on the soldiers. As soon as the soldiers smell the powder, then Asterix can control them and send them flying. In the air, he makes them unite with each other using shields. One of them will be a giant soldier, and he will use this soldier with a Selfreak's sleeve, and they will hit him with a Selfreak's nerve, and he will have a fire pile on it, but the fire does not affect him. He will control the giant soldier with mixed fire, and he will hit the Selfreaks, will grab him by the leg and his leg, and he will continue to slam him into the ground and roll.
His hands are very fast, and he strikes Rex's predecessor with a strong blow with the plane, very far away, and it hits a ship in the middle of the ocean. After the battle is over, Asterix dismantles the giant soldier and asks the soldiers to return to their country. The soldiers leave and walk away, and he goes to Tilly Freex and understands that he cannot be a successor. He apologizes to him for what happened after that. The people of the village are celebrating because they were able to defend themselves. Pinar and Mix also thank Kitten for her help and ask her not to know anyone's recipe for the magic potion. In the end, don't forget to support us with a like and subscribe to the channel to see the upcoming videos, and also be afraid to watch the previous videos.